first night I saw the boar, I think the dominant male, it came out at 9 minutes past 8 p.m. That's pretty early. After spending the second half of last year recovering from Lyme disease and COVID, I felt good enough to go out again in winter. Although nature is at rest during this season, there is plenty to enjoy and discover. My favorite winter activity is looking for new badger sets. Not only is it exciting to look for signs of badgers, it also is a great way to get back into shape. As I couldn't find new sets in my immediate area, I decided to visit a neighboring province where prime badger territory can be found. This part of the Netherlands has a landscape consisting of mixed woodland and pasture, which is ideal for many species, including badgers. The pastures provide feeding grounds where the badgers can find earthworms and crops, whilst the woodland forms a refuge for sets. After driving a short while through a typical Dutch landscape, I started searching and quickly came upon my first badger way. Badger ways are narrow paths made by badgers, which make heavy use of these little highways. What really makes a badger path stand out is the presence of latrines, shallow pits filled with droppings, which serve as territorial markings. In winter, they are usually found along the edges of a badger territory or around the set itself. I was happy to find several latrines during my first expedition, and not long after, I stumbled upon my first new set of the year. During the next few weeks, I was ill several times, but I could not be deterred. I went out again and found 3 more sets. The second one was perfect for a visit in May, when the young badger cubs are out and about during the evening. As spring had just started, it was still too early for badger watching. I did visit a few sets from last year to see how active the badgers were. I love this time of year, when the first shrubs such as cornel and blackthorn start flowering and insects appear. Since the badgers seemed very active, with new entrance holes dug here and there, I installed a trail cam near one of my local sets. I put it next to a scratching tree used by the badgers, with the camera overlooking the set. Several days later, I collected the camera and was delighted with the footage I got. One of the badger cubs from last year had grown into what we call a yearling and was merrily playing around the set. I was especially excited to have captured a raccoon dog, an invasive Asian mammal which once migrated from Russia to Western Europe. These rare and elusive mammals are sometimes seen around badger sets. This was a great start of the season. Finally, it was time to visit the badgers again. I visited one of the new sets, which the badgers built around a small pond. I chose a spot on the opposite side of the pond, overlooking the set. With the sun slowly setting behind it, the view was amazing.
Well, it is finally the time of the year again. It's time to go badger hunting, or in this case, badger spotting. I'm now overlooking this new badger set. It's beautiful, there's water nearby, the sun's going down. I can see all the entrance holes. So let's see if they show up tonight. Wish me luck. So, the wind is blowing quite heavily tonight, but it is blowing from the west into my face, so the badgers should not be able to smell me. So to somewhat camouflage myself, I'm using this material, this netting, and I'm also positioned against a tree. And this hopefully will allow me to blend into my surroundings so that the badgers do not see me that easily. I've also covered my hands with gloves, because your hands are quite bright in the evening light, so they can be spotted quite easily by the badgers if you move them too quickly.
I did not have to wait long. Just after 8 o'clock, the first badger emerged, tentatively sniffing the air. Unfortunately, it seemed to smell something and quickly retreated into its den, even though I was facing the wind. Still, seeing a badger on my first evening watch was a great start.
Well, I got lucky my first night. I saw the boar, I think the dominant male. It came out at 9 minutes past 8 p.m. That's pretty early. And then I didn't see it anymore. It quickly retracted into its burrow, into its den. After it came out halfway, so maybe it saw me. I don't think it smelled me, but maybe it saw me. I don't know. I don't think they'll be coming anymore. So I'm going to leave now. And maybe tomorrow or next week, I'll be more lucky. But this was not a bad first night. I did see one adult badger briefly.
Sadly, I had to change plans. On my second evening, I was visited by two people from our local forestry department. They gave me a €120 fine and kicked me out of the area, simply because I went 20 yards off the trail. In most places in the Netherlands, leaving the forest trail is considered to be on par with robbing a drugstore. How is treating people who venture off the trail like criminals ever going to allow them to reconnect with nature? The next 4 weeks I mostly spent in bed due to a bad case of tonsillitis. I went out again in June and visited the set where I captured the badger yearling on my trail cam. Bizarrely, I stumbled upon a dead body floating in the water. I called the police and spent all morning talking to them. It turned out to be a migrant without an address. So it goes. After this bad experience, I decided to return to my favorite set from last year. I found a nice spot overlooking the set, downwind of course.
Well, I'm sweating like a pig. I'm attacked by mosquitoes all over. But it's a beautiful evening. It's the perfect badger watching evening, like last year. And now the waiting game has begun again. So let's hope I'll see the badger family tonight. Now, don't get me wrong. It's beautiful to sit out here in the forest. It's much better than spending time in front of the TV. But waiting for the badgers to emerge from their set can be quite agonizing. Will they or won't they? Well, let's see.
Sadly, the badgers did not show up that evening, and as I explained in my previous video, I got too ill to go out again that summer, so I'm simply going to leave you with some unpublished footage from last year. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.